Hey everyone, Lenny Pinna here in Sebastopol, California. I am visiting my good friend Douglas Freeman, who we all know out here as Freeman. Welcome, Freeman.
Thanks, Leo. Good to see you. Glad to be here.
And you heard him call me Leo because that's what my dance community out here calls me, Leo. And that is where I first met Freeman about 10 years ago in Berkeley, California. We were both a part of a group called Soul Motion up until the pandemic. We were really close-knit community and we had just deep relationship and connection. And so both of us, during the pandemic, got swept away from the California Bay Area for a while. Freeman got moved to Minnesota and I moved to Pennsylvania. And here we are once again, a couple of years ago, I think it was about 2 years ago, Freeman came back to California and he landed here in Sebastopol, in Sonoma County, which coincidentally is where I lived 24 years ago, and I actually lived right next door.
Back of our
back of the parking lot was where I lived 24 years ago. When I found out he lived right here, well, I have to tell you, when he told me when he moved to Sebastopol, that was the beginning of my little inner voice saying, I want to be there too. I want to be there. So that's what helped me move to California. And I actually am intending to try to get here into Sebastopol, Sonoma County region. So that's our background and I've invited Freeman here as part of the Creativity and Spirituality series, because that's what our real connection is. We've been talking about creativity and spirituality collectively, collaboratively for some time. I have shared with you my personal relationship to creativity and spirituality through my artwork. Freeman has a larger relationship to that theme, and I would like him to maybe start by telling us how that evolved, your relationship to creativity meets spirituality.
Yeah, it's, for me, there's something really intriguing and magical about bringing something from the non-physical world into the physical realm. Like I imagine something that doesn't exist in the physical world. And by working with it, somehow we're able to give birth to something in the physical world. And that magic really inspires me on a lot of the projects that I've done. So I've had multiple since I was in high school. I mean, since I was in junior high, I had these projects. Like I wanted to make a camera in junior high, and I figured out how to make my own camera, and I've got a photograph of myself in the camera so anyway, so yeah, that's kind of an inspiration for whatever it is that I'm working on.
Yes. Now, since I've known you, imagination and creativity have been a topic of our conversation.
Yes.
And he has been involved in some projects that involve, I believe the last one was like, what was the sound healing one? You had a sound healing one. Then you had a vibration one.
I did. There was a sound healing. I made a sound healing table.
Yes. I think I remember you put here.
Yeah.
And you played. Tell us about the frequencies.
So the sound healing table has a massage table with speakers mounted underneath, and there's a headphone, and there's a device that delivers binaural beats. So it's beats that are synchronized with heart-brain coherence, for example, and those beats are received auditorially and kinesthetically through the vibration of the speakers underneath the table. So you're getting multiple sensory inputs from a frequency that's oriented towards integrating your heart and your brain.
See what I mean? He can look into the bigger picture of this realm and bring it down to where it becomes a tangible experience. You also had one, I know you had sort of vibration in water.
Vibration in water. So there was metamorphic serum. So it was love-infused distilled water. And there were a bunch of multiple other vibrational influences on the water. It's vibrational medicine. Vibrational medicine is the medicine of the future.
See, that's where you're on the cutting edge. You're where people are talking about these new technologies that are bringing that realm together. So he is now working on a new project, which he told me is called Synesthesia.
The Synesthesia Project.
Okay, so here's where I'd like you to talk about this. I think this is really fascinating.
Yeah. So thank you for this. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about this, because I learn every time I talk about it, I learn more about what it is that I'm doing. And, there's so many different ways to go with it. So if somebody has on a loud shirt, or somebody has a golden opportunity, or somebody is feeling blue, or a person has a prickly personality, those are all multisensory experiences. Like, of course, you hear somebody with a loud shirt. The shirt doesn't make noise, but auditory is a different sensory realm than visual. So you're using auditory words to describe a visual experience.
Yes.
And the same with I'm in a blue mood or a radiant smile. Our language is full of references to these cross-sensory things. So let's set that conversation aside for a moment. Synesthesia is a neurological condition that some people have and some people don't, where, for example, somebody can see colors when they hear a particular sound. So it's multisensory experience from what most of us experience as a single input from one sensory realm. And I've been interested in so as a dancer, so what would it be like to move for you or me or anybody to move and have that movement generate changes in tone? Like, what would that look like? Also, what would it look like if those same movement patterns were able to be expressed, for example, on a screen in a field of water? Like, this kind of emotion would generate a series of bubbles, and this kind of emotion would generate bigger waves. So picture a screen, a visual field that has only water in it, and the water is disrupted by So that's what I'm working. That's what I'm working for. That's what I'm working on. And at this point, I have enough detail written up that I'm submitting it to video production crews and individuals and artists to say, what would it take to bring this to fruition? So right now, the Synesthesia Project has been written, imagination, some research, some more visioning, a lot of visioning, a lot of revision, a lot of visioning, a lot of revisioning. And it's at the point now where I've sent out a prospectus, like a little summary of what it is that I'm working on to 4 different production companies, individuals, artists, and stuff. Okay, so if I can take a moment to see if I can make this, if I can put this like where I understand it. Yes. Because you can hear the language. Freeman is totally conversant in the integrated field of energies and things like that. So I want to see if I can bring it down to a level of how, when you were talking about the sound making colors or making visuals. Okay. Remember Disney's Fantasia? Yes. Okay. Yes. So I'm trying to give you, if anybody saw that Fantasia, you hear sound and colors and patterns would show up on the screen, right? And you could feel the relationship between what you were hearing and what you were seeing. Now that was done for us. A production company created that for us. Now, I think what Freeman is telling me, that he's working with a company to create the technology where the individual will have the opportunity to be the impetus for sound and movement. Yes. And it will flash on the screen, right? So instead of a production company doing it for us that we just watch, we actually participate. Absolutely. Okay, good. Absolutely. And what do you think that offers then when we see that?
this in the realm of healing, or what's it in a realm of, you think?
So there's a transformational process that happens within the human system, that when we're able to see, to experience something, we're able to learn, we're able to integrate that. Oftentimes, though, we're unconscious of the ways that we respond to what we see. So if I'm able to have a pattern, my movement patterns are expressions of my inner life. If I'm always like this, unconsciously,
right? That's sending, it's speaking in a sense.
Yes,
of something going on the inside.
Yes, it's an expression. Our physiology expresses our inner life, and if my inner life can get reflected back to me by a synesthesia project where I can see it's not me that's moving on that screen, it's ripples of water and it's sound, but it's the same as me.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that just an interesting thing? And the more I experiment with that, the more I come to recognize, oh, there's ways that I move. It's a mirror, it's a reflection of the unconscious patterns that only get expressed through my that I couldn't see before.
Wow. I just realized that you have just attached for me my own theory of my own paintings that I did, where I even collaborated with other people, where I interviewed them, and we took the patterns, the colors of their life, and I painted paintings that when they looked at it, it was to say, I feel contemplative when I see this. I found the place of where I see myself even in the abstraction.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my way of doing it, and now you're finding another way technologically to do it, and there are companies that can actually create this technology so that people can create, who might even think they're not even creative. It will create something just by the mere movement or the sound or whatever. Something will come back that reflects them.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
The technology of reflective movement is being used in mental health applications by some other people doing research and universities, and it's well funded. And the way that they're doing that feedback, the way that I understand it, is they're pre-programming the message that the person receives to be a more relaxed brain state, for example, or to encourage sleep, or to accomplish a particular purpose. And the Synesthesia Project is a little bit different because it's not to generate a particular response in the person who sees it. The person who sees it, the participant, the user, is its own learning lab.
Oh.
That feedback from the Synesthesia Project gets integrated by the innate integrative healing capacity within the person who sees it. So the image is, imagine painting with color and sound, using your body as the brush and the canvas.
Wow.
You're painting, and you're receiving it, and that receptive changes. Oh, I could move like this. So there's an interactive with yourself process.
So it probably really expands your expression as well.
Yes.
Like where you might feel inhibited, all of a sudden you might start finding ways to actually become more expressive because you're seeing it.
Yeah, my movement patterns always go like this, but what would happen? Oh, look, they always go. I'd love to have the sound whee! In a different register, and I would move differently because I want to explore different levels of color and sound through this project.
Well, folks,
Isn't that fun? Isn't that just fun?
we could have a whole TED Talk here, I know, but
there we go.
and I know this is a deep investigation, but I think people have been seeing online different things where people are talking about frequencies and things. This is the technology that's being created, being imagined
Mhm.
and worked on.
Mhm.
That's giving people a different opportunity to see themselves,
Mhm.
work with themselves.
Mhm.
Yes. So Freeman is involved in that. Yes.
There's a story that I want to tell.
Okay, go ahead.
And the other people, just in terms of creativity and spirituality. So I work on this project. One day, a couple of months ago, I was like 4 hours of work, and I was just really in the zone, in the creative zone, and it was working really well. And I was getting ready to wrap up, and I was clearing stuff off my desk and reorganizing my space. And I was going like, my friends are going for dinner. Do I want to join them for dinner? And I said, yeah, I'd love to join them. And I'm cleaning up, and there's this little voice inside that goes, no, I don't think so. And I had the presence of mind to turn towards that voice and say, so you don't want to join your friends for dinner? And the response was, no, I don't want to. I don't want them to see me. And I was going like this little voice, this honoring this part of myself that didn't want to be seen. And I have this self-compassion practice that's a regular feature that I do multiple times a week. I've got people that I trade with self-compassion. And so I was doing self-compassion for this part of myself that didn't want to be seen, and got deeper and deeper and deeper. If they knew who I really was, they would hate me forever. This part, this voice, certainly it's a part. It certainly isn't all, but there's this part of me that doesn't want to be seen, that's ashamed. And because I was in this creative zone, I was more vulnerable. I was more able to hear that voice. I was able to be with it. Like I've got capacity now to be with that voice. And I was able to, and I cried. It was like a big emotional thing. And afterwards, I kind of, oh man, I'm exhausted. Oh, well. And I'm cleaning up. Do I want to go have dinner with my friends? Well, I don't know. Maybe I will. I'm just going to clean. I'm going to clean. I have a game of solitaire that we played together the other day. Play a game of solitaire and settle in and see if I want to or don't want to have dinner with my friends. So I'm beginning to shuffle and dealing out the cards, and there's a piece of paper, and I'm going to move it off the desk, and I say, what is this? And it's a note to myself that said, this project has a life of its own. It will come to fruition of its own volition, and my job is to clear the channel so it can come through me as clearly as possible. And I said, wow, it's like we just did that. Compassion for the part of myself that doesn't want to be seen. Self-compassion. And I read that, and I said, it's so relevant. I put the thing aside. I'm shuffling the cards. A card popped out of the deck and landed on my left elbow, against my heart. And I pulled the card away, and it was the Ace of Hearts. It had popped against my heart as I'm affirming my job is to clear the channel so that this project can come through. And as it does, it'll generate the opportunities that it needs to come into fruition. And moments of alignment like that, and you and I have conversations about how, it's like this is a thread of our connection, of our relationship as we share those kinds of conversations.
It is. Yes, it happened even today.
Yes.
Yes. There can be many other stories we could tell, but it happened today where I was definitely needing advancement toward coming to live in Sonoma County, and he opened up his phone and found this spiritual community that investigates housing, and I went, I have to tell them I want to go to Sonoma County. Anyway, that's a part of our relationship, and I really wanted to share this with you because I know that this is what people have been talking about me. This is a part of me. The way we talk is my part of my spiritual connection, my relationships, and I wanted to share that with you. And I wanted Freeman to have an opportunity to become visible, be seen, be seen, and share it with others. And so this was that opportunity. So I thank all of you for joining both of us.
So do I.
Yes, together we join. We thank you, and we'll see you next time. Ciao, everyone.
Bye-bye.